Because I Could Not Stop for Death was written by Emily Dickinson. She uses personification to portray death and immortality as characters and shows her closeness with them, which causes reader to feel that death is so simple and easy. At the beginning of the poem, however, at the end of the poem, there's a sudden shift in tone that causes reader to identify the original of the idea of death, which is so crucial and evil. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me, and the carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. So in the first stanza, Emily Dickinson portrays that death as sort of like a close friend, and also a gentleman suitor. And she reveals that she welcomes death when she says, "He kindly stopped for me." And the pleasant tone of the poem further suggests that the author is quite comfortable with death. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had to put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. So in the second stanza, the carriage ride is symbolic for the author's departure from life. She is in the carriage with death and immortality, and she shows her willingness to go with death when she says that she had put away her labor and her leisure too for his civility. This means that she has set down all she wanted to do in life and willingly entered the carriage with death and immortality. The phrase, "we slowly drove," which means that death drives so slowly for her, allowing her to reminisce. And the phrase, "he knew no haste." As they drove, he takes her through the course of her life with a slow and patient ride. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the rain. We passed the fields of gazing grain, and we passed the setting sun. So the third stanza details more about the carriage ride, letting her memorize her own life from when she was just a little girl to her maturity. They drive past the school where children strive, which shows that the author is given to few moments to remember her childhood. After that, they drive across the gazing grain, helping the author to think back upon the most important period of her life. And then they pass the setting sun, symbolizing the author's death. So let's move to the stanza 4. Or rather, he passes, the dews grew quivering and chill, for only gossamer and my gown, my tippet only tulle. So in the fourth stanza, there's a sudden shift in tone where the sun has set, and then the author realizes that she is at a low temperature and she shivers. After all, she was riding along with them in only her gossamer and her tippet only tulle. In the three initial stanza, she described Beth as a gentleman, suitor, who's very kind and civil. So, in these three stanzas, She was so confident with death and immortality. However, she becomes aware of her inappropriate attire when she was sunset in this stanza. So let's move to the fifth stanza. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the crowd. The roof was scarcely visible, and the cornice in the ground. At the moment of realization that she is seduced by death, when she stopped at her new house, which is mentioned in the poem, a swelling of the crowd. She claims that the roof was scarcely visible, and the chorus, but a mouth. The town becomes more disappointed when she realizes that he is not what she truly thought in the first three stanzas. Now, the sun has set. She is standing before new house, her new house, which is a swelling ground right here, and feeling that she was cheated. Let let's come to the final stanza. Since then 'tis centuries, and yet it feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horse heads were toward eternity. Now, it has now been centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day. When life has continued without the appearance of her, she still thinks of the moment when she first submissed the horse head, which means that that's the first time she realized that she was seduced by the death. He had appeared a kindly gentleman at first, but had left her alone in the dark, cold, and damp grave.